I'll give you an example of two other types of humor. I have my poem on Rene Magritte. I think it's Magritte nude reclining or something.
Yeah, it takes off from the Wallace Stevens poem.
Yeah, and not only that, but what I do is the humor is that I take out all the punctuation and I string it along the bottom, and so you get a very Magritte-like effect. And there's a lot of humor in it. And there's probably other poems that I could I have one about property is theft, it's called, which is a quote from Proudhon. One of the best examples of an odd kind of humor I have is in a poem that I just recently put online as a poem video a couple of weeks ago, which is an old poem that goes back 20 some years, called the Mario Calcasi of the Mind, which is playing off of Lawrence Ferlinghetti's The Coney Island of the Mind. But mine is a much better poem than Ferlinghetti's. Ferlinghetti's is a famous poem and it has some moments, but the Mario Calcasi character is based upon a kid that I went to school with, actually called Mario Calcasi, and he was a great kid. I liked him. He was a kid who got left back a year, so he was a year older than most of us, and he was this big muscle bound kid, and he was like, hey, and so I have him in the poem once or twice actually speaking, and he's really comes off as really stupid. But the humor in the poem isn't so much making fun of the Mario Calcasi character, because he likes to go both up and down, just like the Ferris wheel, up and down, up and down, up and down. He likes to go both up and down. The humor is much more existential humor. So here I have a character that, if we just looked at what little we can discern of the character dramatically in the poem, this is, a working class dummy. But, but the poem gives him a grandness, a grandeur, an existential angst that probably would never affect the Mario of the poem, much less the real Mario, assuming, knock on wood, he's still out there and alive, and I hope so, because he was a good guy, and I always still have affection for him. But you can't go with the obvious things, like you said, to put drama into a poem or a piece on Groucho Marx, to add humor to a Nixon, to take a working class pug and give him existential angst, even if he doesn't feel it, give the poem existential angst. These are the ways that you make art.